I may have to do a quick little realignment of them, and then we should be good for being all ready to go. They're not too bad here. Gonzo's slightly ahead, but I will just do a quick pause here to...
Yep. We'll get that squared away. Sigma fan,
There we
the winner is you. Greatly appreciated. And here we go. DarkLordGonzo and Darkalexandr.
Both getting a nuke to start.
12 seconds in, and we're going to get through the first room here.
Both getting a nuke to start, so neither did the Razor Shield setup. And they both get a Razor Shield as their second drop. That's kind of hilarious.
Wow.
So both are just smashing that into the enemies here. This is what is colloquially called about the 40-second room. That's the time you want to be at. And it will be a slight DarkLordGonzo lead with a 41 to Darkalexandr's 44-45. So about a 3-second lead right now for DarkLordGonzo.
Wow. 3.5 seconds.
And of course, in this room, collect power-ups. As always, we want that eternally great orb or the option to appear. That is what we're looking for. Neither really getting there right now, but both hoping. And there it is. There's our first orb of the match. They were, so far in this tournament, collect power-ups has been very reluctant to give good drops like that. So that's a huge early advantage for Darkalexandr. And now a Razor Shield if you can get to it. But I think he's just focusing up. Going to hold the middle.
And that seems to be the ideal situation. If you can hold the middle, you hold the lead in a lot of cases.
However, there was some decent weapons that dropped, specialty weapons for DarkLordGonzo, and actually increased the lead despite the no orb. But time will tell on that front if this option stays in play here for Darkalexandr.
Great use of the invulnerability on Dark Lord's part.
If you don't have that orb, that is something you have to do. And having a foot also makes it doubly effective. You can just fly around the room. However, letting those shrapnels build up when you don't have the orb can be very deadly to your time.
It's a very deleterious decision, and DarkLordGonzo utilizing the clearing of the room, but still had to wait for one more to spawn. That took a little bit of additional time, but now,
Gonzo gets the orb but dies to a shrapnel. And for those wondering, Darkalexandr made up 4 seconds and eat my shrapnel, a room that should take about 42 seconds every time if you have the right stuff to get it done efficiently. So as you can see, that option already paying dividends. And this room again, if the longer it stays, the bigger the gap the gap will shrink, just based on pure killing potential. But that Razor Shield for Gonzo is pretty nice. Allows the hold the middle and playing it very defensively, not using it as much of a weapon, just trying to hold the fort. Now starting to smash into the enemies as Alexandr drops the orb. Great job, though, keeping as long as it went. But now we'll see what happens for the drops.
There's the invulnerability on Alexandr's side. Gonzo with one edge of the Razor Shield, that's gone now.
And there's a Razor Shield for Alexandr.
Very untimely.
But yeah, this looks like it's going to be close, but it should still be Gonzo holding the lead, leaving the room. Just got to kill that last shrapnel and get out of there. 334.
Diminished at least a little bit. 335 into the secret room.
The lead did shrink a little. It's about a 5 or 6 second lead as we head into the bonus room. And the bonus room is just 25 seconds of waiting around. It's like a break.
Just a little bit of a breather.
Because it's quicker than doing another fighting room, so they'll just take that and move on. Tank trouble. Good first drop here.
I love it indeed.
Gonzo gets the Razor Shield, busted on a shrapnel, unfortunately, but does get rid of both gunners using invulnerability.
No.
But using invulnerability to kill some things off. And another invulnerability. Meanwhile, Alexandr's not getting as fortunate of drops here. So having to do a lot more running to stay alive. Gets grenade. There's rockets now for DarkLordGonzo. The drops favoring Gonzo right now. A death for Alexandr, unfortunately. Has to get rid of that gunner. Really doesn't... You got to remove as many of these threats as you can. And now an option on Gonzo's side. Really setting up nicely for Gonzo. This will probably help grow the lead, I would say, with those early drops just favoring and having the option right up to the completion of that sentence, unfortunately. Another death for Alexander, but gets a rocket, which is a great drop in this room. It rips through the enemies, takes down the shrapnels. Now an option on the feet. I didn't see the entry time for Gonzo, but it's going to be a significant lead heading into Mutoid Man. The option goes down for Alexander. Let's see what Gonzo gets for a first drop. It's rockets, a great first drop. You can get rid of those turrets, and you can then start pounding on Mutoid Man. As it's still Alexander struggling through tank trouble as it comes to an end here. And Alexander taking the death, setting up a potential huge spreader. We could see 2 arms get popped here. It depends on what Mutoid Man does. There goes 1 arm. There goes 2 arms at the same time. Double fire, flexing it out in one big move. Even though the next weapon was ungettable, that was so worth doing what he did. Huge double arm pop. But now we got lobbers on Alexander's side versus back-to-back rockets for Gonzo. Rockets are probably a bottom. They're a bottom tier weapon, but that huge spreader get has definitely opened up a lead. And now Gonzo trying to get his way over to that lobber, dances through the laser eyes, doing a great job. Alexander gets an invulnerability, which is no good when you don't have a weapon. And now grenades. There goes the head for Gonzo. You got a big lead built right now. There's a spreader now for Alexander. Trying to get in to use it without an invulnerability. It's tough. But got a few shots in before dying. There goes the outer shell. We're down to the final form and invulnerability for Alexander. This one's all but over at this point because back-to-back lobbers now for Gonzo. This weapon should do it. This one's going to be over in the... Oh, no, we'll have to get one more lobber, but there we go. The chest is open. Another use of spreader without the invulnerability for Alexander.
Ow.
But man, Gonzo missing quite a few shots. Finally finishing off the final form. It'll be about a 721 for Gonzo. Meanwhile, Alexander going to finish it off here.
Oren Jesus is very much in DarkLordGonzo's favor.
Oh, there's a few of the Gonzo fans in the room, no doubt about it. Head pop now for Alexander. Alexander has had 3 spreaders, and they've all dropped on the wrong side of the room to set up the die and grind.
Wow.
It's just been rough. Well, you may not be a Gonzo fan, but there's several of them in the room. I'm just making the comment. I've seen it. It does happen in this tournament when we get... we occasionally get players. They'll send them over here, and the fans will cheer them on. The champion from last year, Deller, his people would show up in droves to cheer the man on. So, finishing it off here is Darkalexandr. It will be about an 8-17, so a significant win for DarkLordGonzo. 1-0 for Gonzo in this best of 3. Let's see if Darkalexandr can force a way into a third and final match, or Gonzo is going to try to finish it off 2-0.
Yeah, the drops were definitely in Gonzo's favor, although Gonzo's saying in chat, bad drops. So, obviously they weren't great for either competitor, but not nearly as great for Alexander. We will see how things go here in the second fall of this best 2 out of 3 match.
Absolutely. All right, so they're just going to ready up here, and then we'll be underway for game number 2 of this match between Darkalexandr and DarkLordGonzo. DarkLordGonzo does have the better PB and is the expected victor in this match, but this is Super Smash TV, and you never know what's going to happen.
Yes, upsets are inevitable.
So we'll be underway momentarily here. And we shall see what we shall see. You could get smashed. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And we want to thank you for tuning in here to Bryself's channel. If you enjoy what you're seeing, make sure to give him a follow if you haven't already. And you can even click on that subscribe button.
DarkLordGonzo had someone join the dark side, so that's a good sign. Either a follow or a sub. Either way, that's good. A Razor Shield for Gonzo to start. Back-to-back invulnerabilities for Alexander. And then more invulnerability, so at least able to use this as a weapon. And then a razor shield. But Gonzo definitely has the advantage here.
Oh my god, no.
And speaking of alerts, now Lovis the Lotus also follows me. That is hilarious. I don't mind people's alerts being on. I don't have the sounds on. It's a visual thing. Actually, Alexander did a great job in that room with some accurate fire to keep it close, despite having to wait on that razor shield. But it's about a 5-second lead here for Gonzo. The first drop for Gonzo is an invulnerability, not a terrible drop. Grenades for Alexander. That is a terrible drop.
Oh, no.
And now people are going to go troll DarkLordGonzo with the alerts. Well, you do you, but all I know is that right now we're hunting an option. We are hunting rockets. We are hunting spreaders. Game, could we get some drops? Thank you. And more good drops.
Cooperative like that. This is a game that's not like anyone.
That is the first time in this tournament we've had both players get an orb in the first room. That is unreal bad luck. Alexander needs to finish this room off. Great first room overall there from Gonzo. Not exactly on PB pace, but in good shape here. As we head into Eat My Shrapnel. 18 shrapnel to kill in this room. A max of 4 on screen at once. So you've got to keep their numbers down while you also kill the swarmers. Gonzo is running into a little bit of trouble, but holding it down just enough. Gets rid of the swarmers. Will now be in great shape. And as you see, Alexander has done a great job controlling the room. I say this as the shrapnel start piling up. They can get away from you so quickly. You won't even notice. All of a sudden you're like, why are there 4 of them on the screen? Into
they
total
just spawn out of nowhere, almost like an RKO.
Into total carnage, hoping for a razor shield, rockets, and spreaders. That is basically the take-home message for the next 2 rooms. The shrapnel's trying to troll Gonzo, but expert dancing, dodging those flying pieces of metal, and now we got a nuke for Alexander. Good job not getting shrapnel going for that. Good awareness, and there's a razor shield for Alexander. Does Alexander see it? I don't think Alexander ever saw it. Unfortunately, did not go for that great power-up that was very collectible where it was. But never spotted it, unfortunately. Meanwhile, Gonzo drops his orb, now making use of the rockets and has spreaders on screen. Gonna go for him. Gets there on the last possible frame. Great grab by Gonzo.
Wow.
Meanwhile, Alexander's just focusing straight up on kill ratio with the orb, which is an interesting strategy because the spreader really doesn't add much to your kill ratio. It's only useful situationally. And that's some min-maxing I don't expect out of these guys at this point in time. Rockets in the middle now for Darkalexandr. Great room there. Does not get to the rockets, but trying to keep that orb healthy. Gets rid of the shrapnel. Some definite time was made up there by Darkalexandr. Some time was definitely gained.
So about a 10-second differential at the moment here. But Alexander has the orb where Gonzo does not.
Could make a big difference. It depends how Alexander's able to dance here. A foot to start for Gonzo. Not an ideal starting drop, followed by a dude, which is really not useful on an easy run. That is right up there with a key for being utterly useless. A foot as well for Alexander. So far the drop's not doing anyone any huge favors, although I do see a razor shield for Gonzo. The option's still alive, but everything else still alive too on Alexander's side. Now we get rockets for Gonzo. That's a great drop. Will allow him to rip a lot of enemies and travels. And then an option. The orb is returned. I was going to say it's an Easter miracle, but that might be a little blasphemous. But I said it anyway. Moving on. Now we see Alexander really dancing tight, getting those rockets. Trying to get back to the middle, but this room is so vicious. It is just so difficult to stay in the middle here because there's so much action going on.
It is relentless, to say the least.
And it'll be Gonzo at 5:01 heading into Mutoid Man. And there goes the option on Alexander's side, trying to get to those rockets. Gets there. Now just trying to finish the room up, but gets clubbed down.
Oh, no.
Gonzo's first drop is a lobber on the feet. That's a fine first drop. He can set up and kill those gunners, provided he doesn't get picked up by the bullets first. Has a refill in hand. Gets it. And I didn't see the entry time, but the lead definitely grew there. We got a key for DarkLordGonzo, which is fine, because Gonzo has a weapon. Gonzo couldn't decide whether to take the death or not, decides just to get the spreader and use it normally. Now taking the death, we could see a glitch-toid here in a moment. Are we going to get a glitch-toid? Let's see if we can get the glitch-toid. And no, we don't get a glitch-toid, but he gets another spreader. No, he just misses it. Oh my goodness. So close, but no flea bar, as one arm now off for Alexander, and DarkLordGonzo popping open that rib cage. It's about a 1 3/4 form lead. An empty drop after a death for Alexander. That is fantastically awful. What are you doing, game? Gonzo, meanwhile, rockets into a lobber. Probably going to pop that head here any moment. Doing the right thing here, dodging the rockets, then picking them up near the end of the spawn time. And getting lobbers now. Another empty drop for Alexander. This one is all over but the crying unless something insane occurs. Final form for Gonzo.
This is Gonzo's to lose here.
Oh, absolutely. And then another empty drop for Alexander. That's his 5th empty drop on this boss. His 5th.
Wow.
Just awful, awful luck. Gets a spreader, but it's going to be too little too late. Popping the second arm. Great use of the spreader with no invulnerability. Actually got about almost a full form with that weapon. But it's all over as DarkLordGonzo is going to take this matchup 2-0.
We may as well just... We're done! Wow, we're done.
As Fear on Burgundy, my co-commentator, dropping some sound bitage in the room.
Well, as a radio entity, I have to know how and when to be able to place that in.
Well, there you go. You understand. And yet another empty drop for Alexander with no weapon.
Wow.
Good. Great. Effing great.
Yeah,
Just great. Game
there's
kissed my ass.
definitely
That's what I can do.
putting another, pretty much speaking the mind of Alexander here at this point.
Yep, and it isn't just about getting good drops. It's about good drops at the right time and the right locations. That means so much in this type of game. And man, they sure showed up at the right times for Gonzo, and a lot of good weapon chains too. Anytime rockets or grenades showed up, a better weapon immediately followed it. As there it is, Alexander is going to finish off in a low 8, about an 8-17, I suspect. Maybe a little more than that, but either way, good stuff here from Alexander. Good stuff from Gonzo. DarkLordGonzo almost had the perfect Mutoid Man. No, there's only ever been one quote-unquote perfect Mutoid Man, and that was on the easy world record that was a 5:26. From the time I entered the room to the time I left, Mutoid Man, the whole room lasted 76 seconds. And if you've never seen it, you need to check out that old world record video. I still don't know how that happened. It was ridiculous.